I am a communal being, and I really believe in doing things together. I think that every good and healthy kingdom thing is done within the context of community. And taking 40 at a time, a typical bus in Israel has 66 seats. So I like to take 40, that way we're all on one bus together. We are together all day, every day. I don't walk around Jerusalem with a felt flower that you're trying to find me. That says, I love Jerusalem or something, nothing like that. We don't do the little headset. You don't have things in your ears because I'm so far from you. You can't hear me. That's not how we do this. No, we do this like a caravan. In antiquity, you never travel alone. If you travel alone, you'll get jacked. Jesus tells the parable of a good Samaritan. He traveled alone and he got jacked. And so I like to go 40 at a time. That way you can inherit not only the fifth gospel, but that caravan that's traveling with you. You will know each other. You'll know each other's stories. You will know the 40 lives and narratives and stories that are colliding into the biblical story as we're walking around Israel together. We've seen amazing things happen. We've had renewal of vows ceremonies there. I took a couple this past year that they were married for 13 years, were divorced for 13 years, got remarried, and they've been remarried for 6. I'm like, that's impressive. You pulled 13, left each other for 13, got back together, and now it's 6 going. It's just this, I'm like, who are you people? That's awesome. And like hearing them tell that story in the land, you start to figure out that part of why we read the Bible is God's saving activities in their lives is just his same saving activities in our lives. He's still doing some things, and we want to be a part of it. So that's a little bit of what you can expect, 40 team total. Now I want to address security and safety in Israel. This is why a lot of you showed up. How many of you have told people, I think I might go to Israel, and they're like, yeah. Are you going to be okay in Israel? So I want to give you some information, and then we're going to hear from some. It's like a what? Right? So you might want to jot this down. The modern state of Israel is technically comprised of 3 different governing entities and bodies. One, you have what we call Israel proper, where Israelis live, controlled by the Israeli government. Then you have 2 different regions where Palestinians live that are governed by 2 different Palestinian organizations. The first Palestinian area is an area called the Gaza Strip. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of that. Oftentimes in the news when you hear things going on, the Gaza Strip is this western shoreline right here, facing the Mediterranean. In the Old Testament, this was Philistine territory. Gath, where Goliath is from, Ashkelon, Ekron, a lot of those biblical cities are western coastal cities. We do not go to the Gaza Strip for this biblical study trip. When I studied there, we went and studied there, but I don't take teams there. So you won't be going to the Gaza Strip when people ask you. The Gaza Strip is governed by an organization called Hamas, if you're familiar with them. And it's just an interesting place. The other region with Palestinians in it that is controlled by something called the PLO, if you remember Yasser Arafat, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. It is an area right in here, kind of mid-country, and we will go into the West Bank and we will go into it often. Kristi, why are we going into the West Bank? Because there are central pearls and central locations in the biblical story that are now located in the West Bank. For example, Bethlehem, Nazareth, Machpelah, where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were all buried, along with all their wives except for Rachel. Jacob's well, where Jesus sat with the Samaritan woman in John chapter 4. So there are really important pearls, really important places located within the West Bank, and we will go there. In my 12 years in the land, I have cultivated just as many relationships with both Israelis and Palestinians. I always use a Palestinian bus driver because it is very easy for him to get us in and out of the West Bank back into Israel proper. And we always use a silent Israeli guide. witness to the land. And whatever you think about the Middle East, you're going to bear witness for 12 days. You're going to watch a Palestinian man and an Israeli woman work together in perfect harmony to take care of you. That's what you're going to experience when we go there. And it's a really beautiful experience. Last thing on security, and then I want you to hear from some of our alumni. I work in tandem with both the Israeli Embassy and the U.S. State Department. Those two entities, I register all of our trucks with both. And if both of those entities give us a green light for travel, let's say we get a month out from our trip dates and you turn on whatever your news outlet, and it's like, oh wow, it's getting interesting in Israel. Because it gets interesting in Israel from time to time. If the U.S. State Department and the Israeli Embassy give us a green light for travel, we're going. Like if the plane goes to Tel Aviv, we're going. I'm honestly not always the best one to ask. I have been in Israel before when quote unquote the third intifada was happening a few years back, for those of you that remember that, and I never even knew it was going on. So it's just what you see and what you perceive. So I would go to Israel tomorrow if I could. I walk around Jerusalem by myself. I feel safer there than I do here in a lot of places. That's just my experience as somebody that's been there for so many years. So just know that. I don't have enough pride or hubris to make the call of whether I'm going to take you to the Holy Land if something's going on. But my contact at the Israeli Embassy in Tel Aviv, his name is Ibrahim. Think Abraham, but change out the A for I. It's Ibrahim. And they are a communal culture. So I have to be careful when I call Ibrahim, because I will have one quick question like, Ibrahim, passport number, blah, blah, blah. Did that get clear? No. When you call Ibrahim, it's how is your family? And he's going to tell